So my husband said that he's gonna take out 2 feet of this right through here, and then he's gonna come up and over to make this more of a square, but all the way over to the corner there this way. So he's got about another, he said, possibly 3 hours of digging, and then we're gonna move over there to start digging the sand. And then we're not worried about putting the sand back with this, because we can do it with the skid steer. And just to have it, you know, so we can make sure that no more flooding happens. And this is the reason why my husband dug this area out at 4 feet deep all the way around. But this area, like he said, he's only got to go about 2 feet, because he's really not too worried about this area here, especially with some of the flooding that has happened, you know, that came right up into the barn and flooded into the barn there from all the rain and stuff. But this should be this area right here just on itself, and then it goes back over that way. He was really concerned about that tree right there, you know, of just having to be able to make sure it don't fall, because if it does decide to go, it could come this way, maybe clip the side of the barn here, and then end up in the chicken coop and probably kill a bunch of chickens, or it's gonna come this way and fall on top of that. So with that being said, that's what he still has to do, and then he'll be digging the hole. So we still got a little more to do, but like I said, he's not worried about trying to get the sand in with this, because he can do it with the skid steer at a later time. We're really not worried about this right now, but as long as we can get it dug out and everything moved, and then get our sand dug, we'll be great. We've got rocks there, there's a rock here, there's rocks over there. My husband's got another big pile over here. I kind of want to stay on this side of the barn because you can't hear the radio running. We're playing in there. There's a big pile of rocks there. Excuse me, I got hiccups. But there's definitely rock galore around here, and we're just going to add it to the rock pile, so when the Robert brothers finally come and get the rocks, they'll have a little more weight to our rock amount. So, well, small boulders, I should say, is what they'd be considered. That's the song that was playing. Got it stuck in my head while I was walking around the garage. And my husband is just like, Our rooster Magic there, he's not been feeling very well. I'm not sure what's going on with him, but he's acting a little bit like the little baby chick was, and then we lost her. Not sure what's going on with him. He's not sure how to get back around there. My husband says that should have lights. Even though it's an open cab, it should still have lights on the front of the cab and on the back of the open cab part. He's not sure why it don't have lights there and only one light on the boom, which made it kind of hard for him to see. But I mean, he worked till 10:30 last night, so we got quite a bit done, I feel. You know, with him having to shut that down and then run the skid steer to move the dirt. He said he would show me how to do it, but I just, with Max being out, I don't feel comfortable with not being able to see peripheral view, you know, and I don't feel comfortable enough to be able to do it with my eyesight and everything, and having Max run around and out. He had to get put up last night because my husband almost got him with the bucket. Sure what all that is. If that's just wood from where we had the wood stacked at, or it's like coming out the side of the barn almost. I don't know what that is. Some animals bedding maybe? I'm not sure. It's kind of weird looking. So right now, we're trying to get this burnt down some, and then I'm gonna cook our bone-in chicken breast with skin on that little outdoor cooker. It took almost an hour to get this darn fire started, and we had a cherry that blew over earlier this spring, and my husband thought, and I told him, I said I wanted cherry and some good flavoring type of wood to be burning in this. So with that being said, we got cherry on it that my husband went and chopped because we have some logs, and then some maple that fell too in the storm. So that was back in like June or so, and they got a lot of sap in them. So then I went up, as you can see there's a pile right there. I used the side-by-side to go get me some dried wood that we have back on a back pile that we're actually going to let our neighbors up above us get all that wood, because that area right where that's at is kind of where we want to put the barn, but I want it a little more to the left of where the pile is to try to give the girls a little more pasture area to be able to be in. But we are waiting for that to burn down to the ash, and then I'm going to stick some of that dry wood on there and get it going again, and then see about getting our chicken breasts on there. Meanwhile, my husband's down still doing that. He stopped at 2 o'clock. Wow, it's been over 2 hours. I didn't think it took that long, but it did. He came up here about 20 after 2 and started chopping some wood, and then tried to get the fire going, and then we just had a heck of a time. So then we started taking sticks from there, and then he ended up just kicking it around, and we put a bunch of that stuff on there to get it started, and it did get it started, but that cherry and maple does not want to go because it's so full of sap. So it's like that stuff should have already been ash, because cherry burns really well. So what I've got now is a mixture of, it looks like oak and cherry and maybe some maple in that is dry. So hopefully once this dies down, I'll put some more of that on there, and maybe we can get cooking. I told my husband, Billy, I said, my love, if we can get it ready and everything, and I can have dinner done by, say, 6 o'clock, that would be great. But I don't think that's going to happen. It'll probably be a little later than that. But it's okay, because I've got it, and we'll get it going. Gotta kind of watch where you walk through here because we had big rocks. My husband pulled them up with the skid steer. So I've got our chicken breast on there. They've been on there for about 10 minutes maybe. And they're getting a lot of smoke put to them, which is great because we would love a nice smoky tasting breast, you know, when it comes to the chickens. And then I'm going to barbecue the top of them so then they can then still use the smoke and everything. And then barbecue them for the last 10 minutes or so of the process of cooking them, which I think this is going to take probably an hour to cook these because these were some pretty thick chicken breasts for sure there. And you can see where they've cooked on the edges, but pink in the middle still, which, you know, that's just how you gotta go when you're cooking outside anyways. This would be the same as, like, you know, you camping And I told my husband, I was like, I really want one of these when we do our getaway that we're doing back here eventually, to have a cooking by wood station. And then I would like, you know, like a lean-to just for the wood that he chops by hand in there, and I want it like layered of different species of wood that we have here, and then it would be dry, and then there's going to be an area where we have for a, you know, like a bonfire, because I would like a gazebo built with some of our trees. And I'm going to ask my cousin about that, because I heard through the vine, my mother, that he went down to my grandma's house well, it'd be our grandma's house, and cut up the trees that had fell from the storm that actually had hit us too. And that tornado, but it was a thunderstorm just with high winds and stuff that ended up touching down where my grandmother lives in Howe, Indiana. And she had Christopher come over, and he got all the wood cut up and stuff, and then took the logs and then used those logs and stuff and built him a gazebo, and it's absolutely beautiful. I would really like for him to do that with some of our trees here, since we're going to be cutting down so much, and utilize the wood that we have, since it's not going to be being sold or anything by tree trim or, you know, loggers or anything like that, and that we're just going to do that. And I'm wanted to get a hold of him and see if that would be something he would consider doing for us, and I think that would be great. But yeah, it's cooking. So this is that big huge rock my husband put down here before we knew that there was a close rock company wanting to buy rocks. So he's trying to get this up out of the water here, and he's rolled it already all the way over, and it was about right where that is right there is where it was, and now it's over here because he's getting it rolled, which is awesome. Because when he first dug that up, it was peekabooing and ended up being a really big rock. Boulder, I should say. And, I know. And the last time I know! But it's doing it! Right? Yeah, and I know, it's a tough little machine. And just to say, you know, this thing has quite a bit of power for being, you know, just a 40. Kubota really does a good job on their stuff. I can say that for sure. I know, right? What? It's got a bunch of mud on it. So we can imagine, for instance, what the 80 is like. You know, like my husband said, you know, if you were to bought 2 of these, you'd be at $174,000 for the 2 of them. So why would you pay, you know, why would you want to go that route, you know, when you could just buy the 80 for $117? Brand new, you know, and pretty much the way that my husband would want it, because he would have it with all its bells and whistles and everything, because he kind of likes stuff like that. He doesn't always say he does, but he does. I'm his wife, I know. But when he did get that rock out of the ground, I was going to go back to the story, he used the John Deere 135 that he rented from his work. And that is about the size of, or I should say the 80 is about the size of a 135 John Deere excavator. But I gotta get back up and check our chicken. Back over here, I had to put a couple more pieces of wood on the fire, and then I rearranged some of the chicken breasts, put some of the bigger pieces toward the middle, and go from there. Kind of a view of the property right here. It's a 360-degree roundabout. So you guys could all see. Ta-da! There we go again. Yeah, this rock was found in 2020 when we first moved here, so you would have to go back quite a few years to actually see. My husband had dug that up. I can't remember if I actually videoed him digging it up too, because it was so dark. I don't know if he did that or not, or if I had videoed or not, so we'll see. But I think my husband's determined on getting that out. air feels cold. It was a beautiful day today. It really was. I mean, it still is. We're just getting later and later in the day. Back up here. So as you can see, it's going a little better. There are some flames. We got some red hot coals down there, but also got some wood still needing to burn. But that's okay, because that's what I'm looking for. Because I want a nice, smoky, slow cooked chicken breast. So we'll see how it turns out. They've been on there on one side, so I flipped them for a half an hour. So then I'll flip them again after the half an hour's up. They should be pretty much cooked all the way through. Seriously. They should be all the way cooked through. And then I'll put the barbecue sauce on them. But I'll show when between going down there and coming up here and going down there. But she's beautiful. Right there is the sun. It's just going down. chicken's about done. When you flip them and your breasts start coming apart like that, where they broke. So this is the only one that I don't see that on yet. So they're all gonna stay here just a little bit longer. Probably another 10 minutes and then I'll flip them. And then I think I'm gonna probably cook them an additional 10 minutes. And then after that, I'm gonna actually put the barbecue sauce on them and let them cook for the remaining 10 minutes. So these have been cooking for almost a full hour, almost. I think they got 10 more minutes and they'll be at an hour. That thumb almost keeps him from being able to get up underneath of it. Yeah, they weren't ready to flip yet. I checked them and they're just not warm enough. So I added some more wood to them, and we're just gonna keep letting them slow cook. It seems like the flames are coming right up on them, but it's not burning it or nothing. But I know that it needs a little more heat because it's not cooking them completely through. It's just cooking them on the outside so far, so that's okay. The skin has lemon pepper, garlic pepper, and then my 23 herbs and mineral seasoning on it for just the seasoning. And then I'm gonna put Kansas something love is what the barbecue sauce is called. It's an organic sauce that we get off Amazon. But yeah, definitely they're sizzling now that the fire's a little more warm. I put 3 pieces of wood on it this time instead of 2. And I got my poker, which is over there, poked all that around, and then there was just 3 pieces that I flipped over and then stuck those in between them all. See, Max keeps going over there because he can smell that fork underneath my hat. It's kind of peaceful cooking your meal and just looking out. We got some bigger rocks right there from this tree. It was down in the roots, and they ended up being a lot bigger than what we expected, which is great. Just means a little more weight, which means a little more money, which we could use. But my husband's plans is to take most of the rock money that we've got and put it up. So if he gets this winter, if winter gets pretty bad and he's not able to work, we've got money to put back, you know, for like a nest egg, to be able to pay our bills for the few months that he might have to be off of work, if that comes to it. But he hasn't been able to have any work off most of the time because they do work through the winter. But he's got a feeling that this job that he's on won't be working through the winter. So he's not sure what they'll be doing until then. So with that being said, he figures he's going to be getting all the rocks he can possibly get, collect all the rocks he can possibly get, and then we'll take the skid steer later, we'll put them in piles, and then we will use a skid steer to take them over to the pile. So they got barbecue sauce on them, and they are practically done. I'm just waiting for the barbecue sauce to kind of crystallize and sugarless, or get sugared over them, and then I'll pull them off, put them in the oven, and just leave them in there without it being warm on, because I'm not sure how much longer my husband has to be outside until he eats, because I know he'll probably come back out and start digging the sand hole probably tonight. So I just got to keep an eye on this, and then we're going to go down and see where he's at now. Well, he's a little further. There they are. Don't those look good? Yum. And I have the oven on just warm to keep them warm. Now I stoked the fire, moved the wood around, got it nice and going again, and man, I was thinking to myself, how nice would it be to have some gluten-free graham crackers, some dark chocolate Hershey Kit bars, and some marshmallows to have some delicious s'mores. Man, that would be so tasty. I think I'm going to say something to my husband, and then we could probably run to town later and maybe get some, I don't know. But man, this fire feels nice. It's pretty chilly right now. It's just because there's a light wind and the sun's down, and when you're in the shade in the woods, it's kind of chilly for somebody petite as me.